Okay. Hi, my name is Ivan Fiyun, and you're listening to the Ministry Media Show here on Rainbow Gospel Radio, Missions Radio for the World. We are broadcasting this live at 9, going live on the radio at 12 today. And this show is about getting your message to the world. Today we're talking about COVID-19 and the church's response to it. We've seen a lot of different things happening. We'll talk about it a little bit with my guest today. But my guest today is I'll let him introduce himself properly just now because I don't have the titles, etc. But he's basically the head of the children's ministry, and he has done a phenomenal job with his children's ministry, responding to this, making sure that they still stay connected to the audience, etc. My guest today is Shaul Wolmerans. He is the head of the children's ministry, as I mentioned. We've worked together quite a few times last year in Bible school when I served him with his media, preparing songs, making the slides, all those kind of things. So I was very honored to be a part of that process. He's an anointed teacher. And also something that I caught someone else say about him was that he loves the presence of God. And that was really something pertinent to me. And I've seen that. So I just want to say welcome, Shaul, to the show today.
Thank you so much, Ivan. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Great stuff. Shaul, you're from Christian Family Church International. And can you just explain to us exactly what is your role there and what is your day-to-day like?
Okay, so my wife and I, we've been serving in a children's ministry for about 10 to 12 years now. It's been a long time. And since a whole lot of changes that's happened with people moving in or getting promoted, we, at the beginning of this year, became the pastors of the children's ministry. So now we headed up, and that's a great promotion, yes. But in general, what we do is we actually develop curriculum. We do material for kids from any age group. So if you're teaching a child, it has to cater for anything from a 3-month-old baby to a 13-year-old child before they move into youth. So that's what we do, and we make sure that there's entertainment, there's fun, because kids like fun. They like visionary things, like kids like to watch stuff. So yeah, we just want to try and appeal to everyone by bringing the word of God to them.
So you made it sound very simple. Obviously, it's very, very deeper and much more intense than that, because you guys are working with different levels of leadership, training. There is, like you said, program development, and there's so many things involved. But what I want to do today in this show is I want to focus on the things that you've recently been doing as leadership. I can't pinpoint exactly when you started, but it was a very quick response. COVID-19 happened, we were in lockdown, and I think it was a week or two later, you guys started doing something. Can you just talk us through that?
So yes, the whole pandemic hit us, and there was whole conversations around the big table saying, guys, what are we going to do now? And that's when I approached the COO, and I said to him, Pastor Johnny Slubbert in this case, and I said to him, we can't just sit back. We're going to have to do something. The kids, if this turns out there's no church, we have to do something. So then we got our media team behind us. The church started filming. We as a children's ministry started filming, and we started developing videos as if you were at church attending a service. We just thought, let's make it more interactive, cut it down to about a 12-minute thing, because data is a challenge in South Africa. It's expensive. And in order to make a video 12 minutes allows majority of people to actually log on and watch the full video, not just browse through it and that's the end, And that's how it all came about. We had to get our team behind us because we didn't really have a team because no one can come to the church property. And since then, it's been a for a way, trusting God and doing what we can.
Okay, so you spoke about you got the media team together. Tell me who was involved in that process. Was it because I can hear you speaking about two different teams here. I assume that you started engaging with the main church's media team. Is that how it started?
Yes. So between my wife and I, we spoke about what can we do to make a lesson relevant to a child if you're watching it online. You see, what teaching someone live you can have an attention span of about 20 minutes. But when you're watching a video, so it totally changes there. So we spoke to our media team and we asked them, how could we make a video like this available for kids? And how much time would they require to edit something like this? So, and that's our media team that belongs to the church. So Pastor Johnny, then in this case, our COO, dedicated one gentleman to children's ministry. Wow. And he would just focus on children's ministry material. And since then, it's been great.
So tell us a little bit about the elements involved in that. I want to get to the creative part of it just a little bit later. But the relationship, you had one person dedicated to you in terms of the technical stuff, like for instance, camera, the shooting, because there's two parts of it. I assume that you guys are involved with the script writing and obviously getting the team together, the shot list, the whole planning of it. And then when there's a person that's dedicated to you, you say, okay, we got to be as prepared as possible when we engage with this person because they're going to bring their video gear, etc., etc. So we're going to make sure we're all prepared. We'll talk about that later. So this person that's dedicated to you, what did they do for you? Did they do the video shooting? Did they do the editing? What exactly in this process were they involved with?
Okay, so that's a nice question. I'm going to try and answer it as quick as I can and as efficient as possible. So this gentleman, when he came into the children's ministry, he was actually one of our teachers a couple of years ago until he became a full-time staff member. But he came in and said, okay, guys, how are we going to do this? And what is our expectations? And what do we want the kids to receive? So from there, it became a whole strategy planning day. And then he started coaching us on how to stand in front of the camera, how to speak into the camera, where to look and what to do and what not to do. And since then, he's done the editing of them. So he films, he edits them, takes him about 2 days to edit the full program. He sends it back to us. And then when I receive the final link, I say, yes, I like this. Let's take something away. And then a final approval goes to the head of the media team. And he says, yes, happy. And then we publish them.
Okay, I wanna get back to that process that you've just explained, the editing and the final approval a little bit later. Let me go back to the coaching time. Obviously, I assume that when he started coaching you and talking about, okay, this is how you shoot, this is how you stand in front of the camera, this is how you present, this is how you talk, etc. That over time diminished, that amount of time diminished because you guys started to kind of know what you're doing. How much time was spent on that initially? You said 2 days?
Yeah, for him to edit the video, it takes about 2 to 3 days, good days.
I'm talking about training and coaching you guys on how to present, how to talk, those kind of things. How long did that take?
No, that took us about a week just to work through those things. Because, some people are very confident when they teach, but as soon as you put a camera in front of them, everything changes,
Okay, and then after that week, how many times did you have to revisit that where he had to go and say, okay, let's tweak this, do this differently, etc.?
Yeah, no, a couple of times. We actually at one stage had a more professional gentleman come out and help us. He works for the church filming company. So they've done some really big broadcasting stuff like that. His name is Ryan. And he came in and he started helping us because our videos became demanding where we had to start making 2 videos a week instead of just 1. And when he came in, he taught us the practical of just when the camera is there, you just look into the camera all the time. Let the cameraman move. Let him decide what happens. But you as the speaker, just look into the camera all the time. And his coaching tips were great. Also how to breathe. And there's the simple tricks of having your notes behind the camera. You know what I'm saying? Because to teach a whole 10-minute lesson, you're never going to remember all those words. So, yeah, it's been good. Yeah.
Okay. So let's get back to when you started with this process. There was getting the team together. Actually, before we start with that, tell me why you thought this was important for you to do.
Well, number one, knowing that churches won't be able to go back and gather again in such a quick time we knew that the only way to reach our children and still feed them spiritually, the only way to do that is online. And online is taking over the world anyway. So we had to jump on. We had a Facebook page, but it wasn't active as we wanted it to be. So we started posting there. And then when it started developing really well, someone came to me and said to me, why don't you make a YouTube channel? Because your material is really great. And then you can reach those that don't want to have a Facebook account. So then we opened a YouTube channel, and I've been loving the YouTube way more than Facebook, just out there, you know. And YouTube is a very easy way of running video, streaming videos, and you can watch it over and over and over again. With Facebook, it's a bit more difficult.
Okay. Now let's get to the team building, because obviously when you go, when we teach people, we teach them that you have got to develop and be a media team / children's ministry, women's ministry, men's ministry, etc. So we are constantly talking about developing teams with media skills so that you can get your message out there. So you spoke of the instance where you went to the church's media team. That's the corporate media team for the church. And you initially went to the media team, and then there was this person assigned to you that focused on your ministry specifically. Obviously, you built more. There was more dynamic needed to be built around that, because it's not just shooting and editing. There's a lot more involved. Before we get into the intricacies of that, what kind of team did you build around this effort of building this media ministry in such a short time and being so effective? You know, what kind of elements, what kind of skills were you looking for in this team, and where did you go to find them?
Okay, yeah, no, I like that question. Thanks, Ivan. You see, for us, it was about, obviously we can't choose the best teachers because we were limited based on the fact that churches can't gather and that everyone needs a permit to come and shoot and stuff like that. So we have our editor and our videographer, right? With that being said, we needed enough energy of people standing behind the camera. Energy is the main thing. You cannot be boring behind the camera because then the kids are not going to watch. So with that said, we chose certain people and just gave them an hour, some form of an instruction or lay down the law type thing, saying, guys, we need you to be super energetic, super creative when that camera comes in front of you. And obviously a lot of it comes down to prepping. You can stand in front of your mirror and prep and prep and prep and prep, and you can become better. And that's exactly how we did it. And we chose these two girls. Now, I don't know if you've seen some of our videos. The beginning of our videos is, you know, you need that icebreaker to grab the kids. And we chose these two girls because we know they're very vibrant and they like to talk a lot. And they open our videos with the values, telling the kids, oh, this is what's going to happen today. And we needed that to make the engagement super, super great. So our team has really developed. We've added a lot more people now since we're doing home videos too on a Wednesday night, 6 o'clock. But yes, we can add a whole lot more when there's no more restrictions. Okay.
So you spoke about the people that performing, the actors, if you will, right?
Yes.
There are more layers to that. Let's talk about every time that you conceptualize a video. Obviously, there you need to conceptualize it. For instance, what are we going to talk about this week? Let's start there. How do you find that? Do you go and pray, fast? Do you just see what are the needs currently? How do you find your theme for the week? And let's talk about just around Sunday, because you've got a video going out at, I think, 10:40. And that video goes out and there's lots of work and stuff. Obviously, there's lots of things involved. Let's focus on the Sunday video. Where do you get your idea for that video from?
Okay. In a nutshell, what happens is with the church, the children's ministry kind of have to duplicate the theme so that there's one theme running through the church through all levels.
Right.
That's okay, children's ministry used everywhere.
Tell us, where do you get that from? Is that given to you like a couple of weeks before or a week before? It comes from kind of head office or the management that's given to you, right?
Yeah, so leadership, we discuss around the table, for the next 2 months. We should at least know for the next 2 months what will be the themes, and then things from there develop. So either we now go back into our study and we go and search for material relevant to what that theme would be. And obviously there must be key figures. So if we're looking at maybe Saul or Paul is going to be spoken about this week, then we need to try and add him into our material. So that's how they develop. But also, remember, Christian Family Church has also developed a good relationship with Church of the Highlands. So a lot of Church of the Highlands material, we would take that and we would make it our own CFC brand.
Right. Yes. Okay.
And with that, there we develop it more based on, if that was the template, we now flesh it out to make it more creative and suit us.
Okay, so 2 things I want to know from you. From now that I have the idea, I know what I'm supposed to do this week, because it needs to be thematic right through. And I think that thread is very, very important, because lots of times your children's ministry goes in this direction and the church goes in this direction. And if you're talking about corporate governance and vision, that's very important for people to understand, is that we need to speak and row in the same direction. So now you've got your theme, and you know exactly what this needs to be about. And then you mentioned something, you said, we're going to flesh it out. Okay. And obviously it's not as simple as that. Explain to us, what does flesh it out mean? There must be some elements like script writing. There must then be some things like set design. Having looked at your stuff, you guys are using just basic backgrounds. I think in the classrooms, that could be very functional. So you don't have to have a great big budget to do something like this. You could literally just go and use what is in your environment. So set design, script writing, tell us a little bit about that, who's involved with that, etc.
Okay, so the big mastermind behind the script writing is my wife. Awesome. She's been a curriculum developer for a long time.
Shout out to Belinda.
So yeah, she's very good at writing scripts and coming up with a good lesson material. You see, the thing is, we look at a lot of stuff within our video. So it's not just a teaching and a prayer and that's the end of the video. So there's values, and when it comes to our values, that's now our opening of our video. We have to look at what's going to be our background. What are the girls going to be wearing that day? And sometimes when we shoot 3 weeks in advance. So it's 3 sets of clothes, 3 sets of backgrounds, 3 sets of words.
Okay. So you mentioned something there that's interesting to me. Let's talk about your video structure. Number one of your portions of your structure, you always start with the values, the 4 values in the church. And you mentioned the know God, discover, find freedom, etc. Is that a directive that came from the management, or is that something that you worked in because it was important for you to flow in the same direction as the rest of the church?
Yeah, no. You see, what we did is when we started with our values as an intro, because it's a great tool to make the kids understand this is what we stand for. Now, I've noticed in the past month the church has also started doing their values in the church service. Now, I don't know if you saw that, because Pastor Johnny looked at it and thought, wow, no, it's really good. Because it teaches us the value of why we're coming to this church. Why do I want to be part of this? Why do I want to serve? So that's that.
Okay. And then the values, they are shot original material every single episode. So you could have chosen, listen, I'm going to shoot a template for the values and every week use the same thing. But you guys are not doing that. Why is it important for you to have new things every time?
Yeah, I think it's basically comes down to our viewers. You know, if you are 5-year-old and you see the same thing over and over again, you're going to stop watching our videos. So we have to become more creative and change up the way we do it. I don't know if you saw this weekend's one. We made it a James Bond type of thing. And it's very cool. Nice, but that's how we can be innovative and creative and think about ways how to get the values across. You can also take a value and ask someone, so what does know God mean to you? And someone can tell you. And that's still explaining the value. And that's why it's about getting the message across. It's not about how good we can be, but as long as they understand what it means, then we're happy.
So you mentioned you have your script writer, kind of, which is now Belinda, and then who comes up with, for instance, this James Bond theme for bringing these values across this week? Who's behind those things? Who brings those things to the table?
Ivan, you know what? They actually happen on the shoot. So as we shoot and we see, you know what? Let's try this, but let's try that way, and then we think about what animations are out there that we can make use of. So even the girls like to jump into the scene, and we've got an animation where you can make the whole earth shake when they land. So things like that is just funky for the kids. So they actually happen as the shoot takes place. But that's only with the values. With everything else, they are superly planned and well thought out. And you can't just decide on the day, okay, let's do this. Because the script is already written. The object lesson has already been decided, and the prayer's already been decided, and everything else, the way it must flow, is planned.
Okay, so in those, I want to keep to this because I think it's pretty awesome. You have in that section every week the people bringing it across is Sarah Hahn, and then you also have one of the teachers or the pastor's kids in that section. So did you choose that, like, okay, you guys are going to do this section every week, so it's your job to come up with something new and creative? Is that what happened? Or I know that you say, okay, we get to the shoot and we can kind of come up with the ideas, and I understand that process. But choosing these two individuals, let's talk about, did they sign up for it? Did you ask them to do it? How did that happen?
No, when this whole thing erupted, we had to urgently make a plan. So Pumi, which is the pastor's daughter now, and the colored girl, she was the one that has done a lot of our voiceovers in children's ministry. Okay. So, and we've got a very good relationship. So she was the first person to call and say, hey, we need you to help us put some videos together. And I know she can do it. You know, she's very good. And she also helps with our performing arts. Now, Sarah, she's the performing arts teacher. So she's also in band, etc. So she's very involved with the whole youth culture in the church. Exactly. Okay. So that's how it all happened. We phoned them and said, are you guys keen to do this for us? It's going to be an ongoing thing, not a one-hit wonder. And since then, it's been an awesome journey. They've been great. We give them material about a week in advance. They prepare and they tell me, do you like this, Teacher Shal? Don't you like this? And then from there, we be creative together. You know, we become a child. And that's how we go for it. Okay, so let's get back to the structure of the Sunday video. There's the values, that's always there. Is there anything else that speaks to consistency in your programming that besides the values? Is there anything else that's consistent? Yes, so we've got our first two videos, we did not have a praise song because we were concerned about going over 7 minutes, and maybe some people will not watch because 7 minutes in a data package for some people is a lot. So then we decided, you know what, kids need to have a praise song. If you come to church, there will be praise and worship. Yeah. So since then, we've added praise songs that you will find every week. And they're so super cool. We've got someone in the States that actually designs them for us. He makes them just dance video. So it's got actions, everything to it. So if you had hope, you can just dance with the song. And it's really a lot of fun. So that is there every week. And then we also have a lesson that will always be there, and the object lesson will always be there, and the prayer. We do throw in some nice things every now and then, maybe like a game or a question, but those are our basic 4 elements that will always be in the videos. Okay, so talk to me about this person in the US that creates these dance animations or segments for you. Is that a relationship that stems from our branch in San Antonio? Is that relationships that you've built there, or how did that come across? You know, it's actually quite funny. I was just searching for, we did a lesson about the Holy Spirit. And I was just searching what praise songs actually speak about the Holy Spirit in the praise. And then I came across this song called Holy Spirit to the Rescue. And it's a just dance song. It's got a cool background, and every time the kids do a move, the whole background moves, and it's super, super amazing. So when I clicked on it, it took me to this guy's YouTube channel, Rodney Huckey. And then I started sending him messages, asking him, how does he do this? How can I connect with you? And then from there on, it was just such an easy transition. He just said, tell me what you want, and I'll do it for you, no cost, nothing. And since then, he's been making for us. It's been awesome.
That's amazing. That's God sent, eh?
Yeah, that's it. Awesome.
So tell me about you said that earlier in the interview, you mentioned that, okay, are you shooting ahead? Are you do content stacking where you're shooting like 3 or 4 episodes ahead? Or are you like Monday, we're going to shoot by Thursday, the editing must be finished for approval, etc. How are you guys working in your production, mostly your production process? Is that content stacking, or do you do it like every week?
Well, in a nutshell, we shoot 2 weeks in advance to just allow media to edit and make sure they give us the best possible product that they can. And because it's not the only video they also have to consider and work on, they've got the smaller one in a week. So that's why shooting 2 weeks in advance also allows us to think ahead of what we're going to do coming up. And that's kind of how we do it, and it worked for us.
So we've focused so far on the Sunday video, and you mentioned that you have other things that you do as well. Tell us a little bit about the other media things that you do. Are they mostly video? And you mentioned like a Wednesday video, and then there's another video during the week. Tell us a little bit about the other ones.
Okay, so we've got 2 videos that we post on a weekly basis. The
That's
weekend lesson.
Your Sunday video.
Okay, yeah. So the weekend lesson would be the first one. Okay. And then we've got one other one which we post on a Wednesday night. And we call that one our home video. That's just about engaging with the kids and showing the parents our faces. You'll see a lot of them as mainly kids, maybe doing a dance challenge or singing a song. It's mainly showing the kids that they know we are still out there. We have not disappeared. Life is still going on.
So you've got those 2 videos going out in the week. Do you have anything else planned in the future that you're going to add to your week? Maybe some images, anything else?
Well, at the moment, we would love to go be creative. We would like to go as much as we can. But we are limited in the ways of such a big church with minimal media staff. And since we're online now and everything is online, it's loaded the media department with so much of work that they're struggling to cope. And we would definitely, if we had to return back to church, say when that happens, we would definitely continue with our weekend lessons for those that don't want to come to church, maybe because they feel, no, it's not the time yet, they're not ready. And for those that will come to church, they will get a live experience the way we used to do church. So we're definitely going to carry on with them, for sure.
Are you guys looking at, let me just make a note here. Are you guys looking at developing a media team inside of children's ministry because of the capacity on the main church? Are you looking at maybe getting in a graphic designer, even if these guys are guys that are currently testing and working in those fields growing up, because teenagers, they dabble with a lot of stuff, especially media things. Are you guys looking at developing something inside of children's ministry so that you have a little bit more capacity and there's not so much demand on the main media team?
Yeah, Ivan, I think that would be amazing. If children's ministry, it's always been our desire to have our own graphic designer, someone who can really every day, if we say, let's post this on Facebook, they can actually go out and make something for us really cool. Not just a homemade job, but like really, really good. And then obviously a video editor. We need a video editor. Videos for kids are amazing. You can incorporate it into your weekend lesson, even if they're at church and they're watching live. It will never go out because a lot of kids respond through the visual effects. And yeah, we would definitely love that. If we had that, we would take it open.
I think you guys should put it into your vision and your development. If you have content that you're working on in-house, would there be, and I think it's important that we speak about this, would there be an approval process where you say, here's content that we're going to put out for the next month, let's send it to Pastor so-and-so so they can look at it and make sure that it's in line and we are doing everything so you can actually get a sign off on it. Do you think that's important?
Yes, to an extent. You see, the thing is, if we would always have to ask for approval, you would never be able to make decisions as a children's ministry. And you that work in a children's ministry should know what should work and what doesn't work.
Yeah.
But it's good to make your relatives and your leaders aware of where you're going, what are you doing. So there's cohesion, there's unity. But to always have to ask for permission, I don't think it's always necessary. It's just good that they're aware of what's going on, so that the team goes forward together.
So you're thinking that to have my accountability structure informed of what I'm doing, but it's important for the pastors that head up those divisions, etc., to give trust downward and say, we trust you with this, etc., etc.
Exactly. One has to be accountable to another, and there definitely has to be some form of give it a go. I trust you. If you fail, I help you, and we can mentor each other and coach each other and get better and better and better. But it wouldn't make sense to have someone else always making the decisions, but they're never working. You know what I mean? So we would always want to let the best people with the experience talk.
Okay. Talk to me about, are you looking at increasing your, is this current scale of production and content, is that what you're comfortable with right now? Are you looking to do, increase that in the future? Because we know that children and youth, they are machines. They consume content like nothing on earth. So do you think that 2 videos are enough? Are you looking to increase that in the future? And that obviously ties into with increasing your team and so on going forward.
Well, since we've been online with everything, we've noticed the demand on online. Everything is online. There's nothing that's not online. And with that said, it would be great to have our own team. It would be great to go further. Currently, when we make a video, we supply some of our local CFCs with a video of those that really can't make anything for their children. They would just post our video on their pages and allow their kids to watch. So currently, it's definitely growing and developing. We just don't have the environment like CRC has, where one branch makes the video. So they like the resource center. They make the video. And then every other branch, CRC branch, would make use of that video, and they all join in together. CFC is a bit different, where every church kind of does their own thing. And with us being the head branch, we kind of supply those that really can't and provide something like that to them.
I think that's a good thing to speak to. Do you think it's a good idea for, let's say I have an apostolic ministry and I have, say, 5 branches underneath me, and they're in different provinces or even different countries. Do you think that cookie cutter creative process is good, where I create a piece and I give it to everybody? Or do you think it's important for everyone to speak to their own audience and their own identity, because then we can actually relate properly?
No, I definitely agree with you. I definitely think that it's good for us to speak to our own groups. You know, you can make so much of difference when you know the people, when you know what they want. If you know what's the target market, the audience that you're working with, you can put so much of your work ethic into what that video is supposed to produce if you know the background behind where it's going. So that's very important. But I'm saying that if we had to CFC, let's say a church, come together behind one vision, one goal, then suddenly something can just explode, where everyone's just trying to run, doing their own thing, and that's why there has to be cohesion. There has to be, we're doing this and that's it. And that's why I think some of the American churches are very behind that type of vision, that they don't need 10 churches to make their own videos. They can have one church doing something, but make it really good and effective, and then send it everywhere else, and the kids can watch and enjoy. And I think in South Africa, I don't know. I think churches have too much of competition these days, where let's see who can do it better, instead of let's get the word out there and see how it can change lives.
Let's go into post-production for a minute. Once you've now done your videos, obviously your home video on Wednesday is there's no, people shouldn't expect it to be studio quality, etc. But obviously your Sunday video has post-production elements to it. So how does that work? Okay, we've shot on the day. What happens next? Do they take the material, go edit it, and bring it back to you? What is that process like?
Yes. So what we do is we go to our shoot, and then whatever the lesson would be for that weekend, we kind of shoot it in the sequence of how the video would play on the weekend, just to make it easier for them to line them up, put them together, add some animation, etc., etc. So when that happens, we always get the request. Media will talk to us and say, so what do you want here? This is what it looks like currently. They send us a Google Drive link. We have a look at it and say, yes, I like that. I like that. Maybe we should put something else in here. While the teacher's talking, something pops up behind their head. And that's just creating animation for the kids to not get bored. And that's how we keep on going. About 2 days of up and down, up and down, up and down, talking to each other. And then eventually we have a final product that they send to me. We look at it. We say yes, and then from there, we go for it.
Have you guys had a discussion about quality? Was quality for a big element for you? Because obviously we can shoot with our mobile devices, and not all the mobile devices are very good with their cameras, etc. So was that an element that you looked at, and why is it important?
No, definitely. You know, we shot 2 episodes from church while it was just the COVID pandemic beginning, call it that.
Yes. Yeah.
And then we went all locked down, and then we had a problem. Oh, yes, what are we going to do now? And we weren't allowed to go to church at all. Everyone had to get permits. So that became a challenge. We started filming from the phone. But you know what, Ivan? We could clearly see the difference. You could see the camera moving and the person's face going a little bit. And it's just not good. If you want to be a church of excellence, and it means to maybe put 1 day of work extra, then rather do that. Instead of saying, let's just get the thing out there and no one even watches because it's such a bad quality. For us, quality is very important. And you know what? Quality speaks to a child. You think a child does not know that's good quality. They will tell you, this is poor. You know what I mean? So that's why we always have to give our best with everything.
Okay, I do think that there are very affordable studio setups, so you can put your phone in a bracket and proper lighting, etc. So there are ways to do that, but you need to look at like proper lighting, stable cameras, those kind of things. So I think it can be done, but you know, like you said, if we have these unstable kind of cameras, that becomes a problem. I think let's talk about drawing from resources and relationships around you. Obviously, you bring your son into a lot of the things that you do. Your wife is involved behind the scenes, and then very close relationships that you have that you brought into this project. How did you approach that, and what was the conversations like when you realized, listen, I want to do something to stay relevant and connected, and what was your process doing that?
Well, the first step was we looked at people that we know we can use for a long time. You see, it wasn't about just looking for a quick fix and you can help us for 2 shoots and then what do we do then? So it was about definitely looking at people that we can stick with for at least 3, 4, 5 months, depending on how long this will carry on. And that was mainly the people that we had a good relationship with and our staff. We actually approached our staff and said, guys, we have to go online. What do you think about it? How are you willing to get involved? And some of them said to us, yes, let's do this. And some of them obviously said, it's not my thing. I will help with some admin work. I'll help with this, but I just don't want to be in front of a camera. And that's how the whole thing came about. We've got a strong team now. And we're just growing from glory to glory and from strength to strength.
So you're mentioning about, okay, we looked at some people and relationships. what are the elements and the criteria when you look at people that you want to build this long-term relationship with? Is it trustworthiness? Is it consistency? Is it the spiritual walk? What are some of the things that you looked at? Faithfulness, and you speak about that quite often. What are the elements that you look at when you're looking at a volunteer team that you want to journey with? Because you don't just want people that's going to be there 1 week and next week they're not there.
Exactly. Yeah, for us it was about, number one, do they want to do this? Is this in their heart to do this? That was the first important thing. The second thing is we looked at how efficient are they serving over a weekend anyway. If they don't come and serve and now all of a sudden they want to jump up because it might be some fame or publicity for them, this was not the place to do that. And then obviously we use some of our local branded kids, you know, the ones that come every week. We call them local branded. They're part of groups. When you need to do something, those kids are there. And we started using them in our shoots. And that's mainly just to get the message across there. You don't have to be famous to be part of our videos. We just want you to be willing. You know what I mean? Right. If you've got the heart to say, I will do anything for my teacher, then I'm going to use you. Even if you sound bad, it's fine. We'll use you. And that's how it came about. And if you watch this Wednesday, 7 o'clock, this coming Wednesday, 7 o'clock, we've got an awesome one. We grabbed a whole lot of kids singing He's Got the Whole World. And we're going to put them all in one video and put them together. And we're going to share this thing so parents can see their kids and friends can see their friends and spread the news, you know, not the virus.
Charles, I wanna. That's very interesting. You brought it up. I want to talk about that for a moment, and this speaks to collaboration, internal collaboration, not just with the official staff team, but with our community. And you've done a couple of that already. You've done this latest one is where you got a bunch of kids. I don't know if they were just staff kids or were they congregation kids, but they went and you had the parents just had them the songs in their headphones where they sang it, and then we videoed them on our cell phones. So talk to me about that specific process. You've done 2 of them already, I think. The other one was with some of the volunteers. We had the volunteers speak affirmations and confessions on a video. Where do those fit into your strategy? Is that Wednesday stuff or is it in between stuff? What was your thought with those? Why was it important in getting your community to collaborate in the media content that you create, and where is that going in the future?
Well, the reason why with our first video where we grabbed a whole lot of our volunteers, our dream teamers to get on board, is we wanted them to get behind our vision. You see, currently with them being locked down and isolated and they can't teach, a lot of them miss church. So the only way for them to get involved is to jump on a video and say a psalm over the kids. And that's what we did, Psalm 23. And some other staff jumped on and they had a confession over the kids. And in the end, it's just, we want the message to go viral as far as it can. And especially for this coming Wednesday, grabbing a whole lot of kids and putting them on a video allows so many different families now all of a sudden to watch our material. And that creates that awareness. Some of them don't even know there's a YouTube channel. Some of them might not even know there's a Facebook page. So when we do that, we're not just touching other people, we're creating the awareness of we are doing something.
So when you're talking about attempting a viral strategy, is that what that was about? Is it about getting a lot of people involved? But is it also about, okay, I've got Yanni, Piti, and Sunny in my videos, and not only are they going to participate, but they're also probably going to share it with their friends. Is that the strategy?
Yes, okay. Yes, definitely.
Cool stuff. I want to quickly talk about, obviously, when you came across this and you started looking at these things that you're going to do, you had 2 options. You had live and on demand. Did you consider those 2, and what did you decide and why?
So what we've done with, you see, the church has always wanted to go live. And if you look at our Facebook and our YouTube channels, the church, because it's so big, and because there's so much of information out there now, it was not the right decision for the children's ministry to also go live, because when do we go live? You know, if you've just watched an hour and a half service and now you have to watch another 10 minutes, that's a lot of data for some families. Okay. So we decided we premiere our videos, and that's obviously done for you. You just sit behind the computer, and when that thing goes live, you sit there and you comment and you greet people. And that's the kind of way we went, because it works for us. We didn't go live, as we didn't want anything to take away from the main church, and supporting their vision, and let them support us in our ways.
You just mentioned the interaction in the community. Your video goes and premieres, and now you have people in the comments, etc. Why is it important for you to be there and replying to them and showing that I'm here and I'm listening, those kind of things?
Well, for us, it's all about the engagement, Ivan. We want them to let us know that they're watching. We want to let us know what are they receiving. Are they getting out something from our videos? And are they liking it? You know, it's a good possible feedback as well. We want to know, how can we maybe improve? What is it that your kids like most about our videos? And maybe we can put more focus on that. And that's why everything is engagement. These days, it's not about how many views you have. It's about how much engagement you can create.
I love that. Charlotte, it sounds like you've been doing this for years. What has been your experience before this, and what's it been like now for you in this media creation process?
Well, I can tell you it's been a roller coaster ride. From being a live teacher and heading up a department of just bringing good material out for the kids, and now everything is online. And I used to have a Facebook page, and then I stopped it when I got married. And, you know, everything changed. And now I'm saying I'll never go open a Facebook page. And now I'm back on Facebook because, you know, life demands. So since then, it's been an awesome journey. I just want to tell you that, you know, people sometimes are scared of social media because of the stuff that's out there. But, you know, you don't have to expose yourself to the stuff that's there. You can limit yourself to what you want to do. And if you can control your behavior and how much time you spend on social media, then social media can be an awesome tool. The world's changing with social media, so why not get behind it?
I want to talk quickly about your preparation process. There's preparation that you have for this media ministry. There's the children's church, but you're also a teacher. And obviously, you have to adapt to your audience and different ways of presenting, language being used, etc. How do you approach that?
Yeah, that's not always easy. When I teach kids, I have to think like a child. And when I teach the youth, or when I minister at the youth, I have to think like the youth. You have to use their slang language. You know, you have to walk like
Bible school. Yeah.
And then there's Bible school, exactly. And that's adults. And there you have to be mature. And, you know, so the thing is, in me, I've always been very hard on myself, judging myself on where can I improve? How can I get better? And sometimes it comes naturally when you allow the Holy Spirit just to work through you and teach through you, and never just trust in yourself or depend on yourself. And it's good to ask people for feedback, you know, constructive criticism. You tell me, yes, that was a great message. Okay, what was great about it? And not just walk there and feel puffed because if someone told you it's a great message. So sometimes it's about working on those good things and working on the threats and the weaknesses so you can get better.
Awesome. I noticed that when we are shooting content for you with our kids, you ask us to shoot in portrait and not in landscape. Why? What is the thinking behind that?
When it comes to a portrait shot, it allows us to put more people onto a screen. So one screen, we can fit a whole lot of people. When it comes to landscape, you lose that nice, what do you call it, asset. You know what I mean?
So it wasn't because it's a trend or it's something, it was just practicality.
That's it. Not really about the trend. You know, Instagram, everything is in portrait.
Yeah.
So it is some form of a trend that goes, but it just helps our media team in a nutshell to work with it.
I want to talk about the platforms for a moment. You guys are currently on YouTube. We spoke about that at the beginning a little bit. You're on YouTube. You're on Facebook as a children's ministry. What What are your thoughts there? You said you were on Facebook first, and then you started a YouTube channel. Tell us a little bit about the approaches of both. What is your plans going forward in developing those platforms? And is there anything else that you're going to add to the bouquet going forward?
Well, currently we've got 2 platforms. We've got the Facebook and YouTube. We've also got an Instagram page, but no one really manages that page because, when it comes to videos, Instagram's not the greatest for videos. It's good for images and stuff like that. So YouTube is our main focus at this stage. Facebook has really taken off. A lot of people like Facebook, and we've got just under 1,000 followers there now. So it's great. But where our YouTube, we've only got, I think it's 130 subscribers now. But our views are amazing. So the challenge is just people watch our stuff, but they just don't subscribe. So we started creating an outro now that says, please click here, subscribe, join us so you can watch all our stuff. And the purpose behind all of that is not just for our church and our kids, but other people out there. There's other ministries that can use our stuff. Oh my gosh.
Are you there? Sharp? Okay, seems we've lost Charles on the broadcast. We'll get back. Hold on. Charles, are you there? Hello, Teacher Charles. All right, it seems like we lost Teacher Charles on the broadcast. Good morning, Ria. How are you? We've been talking about media responding to the pandemic, and especially in the context of children's ministry. I see Charles is gone. Let's see if we can get him back. I've got one more question for him. Yes, thank you. If you are listening to the show so far, we've got a couple minutes left. We've got a couple minutes left, and we want to engage with you. If you have any questions, we're going to post this video on the Rainbow Chat Facebook group. So if you want to interact with us, go there and then just speak, ask your questions there. We'll interact with you. You can WhatsApp me 08486444618 if you need any interactions, any questions, etc. Let me just see if we can get Shaul back here. Let's see if we can get him back here. All right, and we were talking about ministry media, specifically creating content during this pandemic and responding to it in this way, and staying relevant and connected during this time. And that was really amazing. And we have Ria, who's also on our directors on the station on the call. Ria, do you have any questions, any thoughts, any comments? What I wanted to ask Shaul before his connection dropped was what is his next steps? In other words, we are responding to this in a way that we are relevant, we are being connected, we are serving our community, because I think the worst thing that you could do during this time is obviously staying silent and just going into a hole and saying, I cannot, we don't have the resources, etc. I think we must be intuitive and resourceful and saying, let me see what I have. In my courses, one of the things that we teach is look at what's in your hand. If you look at Moses, God asked him, what is in your hand? So we can always look at what we don't have, what our shortcomings are, and what we can't do. Or we can go and we can say, I have this. I have this relationship. I have that person. I have this piece of equipment. And just being faithful with what you have. We were talking about quality earlier in the show. What I mentioned is very, very important. I think that Quality is important, especially if you have a ministry of excellence and you have an international ministry, etc. And I'm sure that if you are at that level of ministry, that you'll have the equipment to help you maintain that that level of excellence. But at the end of the day, I want you not to be discouraged. I want you to do the best with what you have, irrespective of what your situation is. If you have only got data and WhatsApp, then minister through that way. Build groups, build broadcast lists, and get people connected that way. Other ways is just if you're in a ministry, you must, at this point, you must respond. You must stay connected. You must keep connected to your community, reaching out to them, connecting with them, ministering to them. And there's lots of ways to do it. If video is not your thing, video is multifaceted, multi-layered. It is difficult. But if you don't have video equipment necessarily, look, your phone is already a big media device. So I encourage you to use that. If you don't have, when you're not confident with video, then you can always use audio. You can always go and use audio and post audio, etc. So audio is something that is very easy. We're doing it here on the radio. We're doing podcasts, those kind of things. And those are great ways to keep to minister and keep ministering to people. And so at the end of the day, I want to encourage you just to create, be active. God is a God of creation. God is a God of innovation. He's created the world in 6 days, rested the seventh. It's just been an amazing journey that God has gone on in terms of being creative. And so we, drawing from the Creator and drawing from the depths of God, we have the ability to do amazing things. I also on many occasions have mentioned that we don't have any more excuses. I believe God has raised up people that have engineered YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram. This platform that I'm using to prepare the show with today is called StreamYard. So you can use StreamYard, and today what I got Teacher Shoal on the show using StreamYard. We've streamed on Facebook. We've obviously can record it. I'm going to convert the video to audio and post it on the radio and stream it that way today. So there's lots of ways that we can create and lots of ways that we can be creative. So I want to encourage you, follow the call of God in your life. Find out what is it that you have for the world to give as value. Who is that? Who are those people? Who is that message for? Who are the people that you are called to touch? How can I reach them, and what media format can I create to impact them? That is my message. And I want to encourage you today, find out what's in your hand. Look at what's in your hand, find out what's around you, and start creating and impacting people. I want to thank you for listening to the show today. We've been cut short by what seems to be a bad connection, but I think it's been valuable nonetheless. Teacher Shoal just coming from a place where he's really responded really positively and well to this pandemic and gone out into all the world, shared, connected to his people. Obviously, there's lots of other systems involved as well, like for instance, planning center, people, keeping people connected. There's groups, there's technology that helps you just maintain a connection to people. And so I want to encourage you to do that. This show is an outflow of the content that I have on a platform called ministrymediamastery.net. I would love for you to go there and get involved. We release a new course every month. We are on our 4th or 5th course already. I think the 4th course that we've released in the space of 2-3 months. There's a course there that's free on Planning Center, so you can help manage your ministry better. I've got a course we started this process called the 4 Pillars to a Successful Ministry Media Platform. And then we also have our next course we're currently busy releasing and creating content on is called the Ministry Content Blueprint, which is also amazing. We're pouring out our lives into that. A lot of resources, thoughts, it's high quality content. There's lots of material, interaction, workshops, etc. So please, if you want to support this ministry and you believe in what we're doing, please go and connect with us there, and let's go build amazing things together. You've been listening to the Ministry Media Show here on Rainbow Gospel Radio. I've got Charles. Maybe let's see if we can get a final question for him. Let's see. He might have some noise in the background. He says his phone died. Okay. Thank you. And we're about to end the show. Let's see if we can get him back on. Let's see if we can get him back on. We can tie the show up. Final minutes of the show. Yeah, like I said, thank you very much for joining us on the show today. I think it's been very valuable, and we've given you a lot of information. So it's also, there's an onus on us, very important for us, not just hear and get information, but also to actually go and implement it. And I think that's important. If we look at the scriptures, it says faith without work is dead. I think we're going to have Charles back just to tie the call up today. That's going to be amazing. And then we can just go in post editing and edit the thing to be nice and clean. I love this. Don't you love it? You know, live broadcasting, live editing, etc. There he is. Let's see. Teacher Charles, thank you for coming back for that, just to tie the show up. I hear your phone died. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. I apologize to everyone.
No problem.
Sorry for that, man. Sorry.
It's perfect. I had to sit and just think of things to say for 5 minutes. So thank you for coming back. I wanted to ask you one final question. In everything that you've done so far and what you've built during this pandemic, I want to ask, what are you going to, is it important for you, and are you going to continue with this, and are you going to build it up even further, and why?
Yeah, definitely. We would want to continue with what we've got. Plus, if the churches can open again, we would go live there again. But we would definitely want to build up and get as much momentum as we can. I think the main goal here is to reach as many people as we can. Let the word go out there, because we just started a series called We Won't Stay Silent. And the hashtag there is spread the word, not the virus. So we definitely want to go out there and make a difference. That's what God wants us to do. And if we can go further and reach more people, then why not?
Okay. Do you have a vision of reaching people beyond the CFC family, all the world type of thing with your media stuff? Okay. Definitely. All right. Charles, I want to thank you and honor you. Thank you for being on the call today. It was a lot of fun, and I think you've given a lot of value to not just the show, but to the people that's going to hear this. And what's nice about the internet and creating content is it can be available to posterity going forward. So people can watch this 10 years from now, and we might laugh at the technology that we're using today, but at the end of the day, it's been a lot of fun. I honor you, and thank you very much for being on the show with me today.
Thanks so much, man. And sorry about everything. God bless you.
It's fine. Thank you, Charles.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. There you have it. Thank you very much for listening to the Ministry Media Show today. My name is Ivan Fuyun. Go and check out more at ministrymediamastery.net. It's been amazing having you on the show. I bless you, and I will see you next week.